Okay, hello class, morning. Yes, this week is week 9 actually. From my calculation, everything is on track pretty much. Okay, I think we have gone through some of the hardest bit of project management lecture for the past that happens for the past four weeks, 4 to 5 weeks. I think that was one of the tougher work that we're doing. Okay, and then the following work, it's not to say that the following works are not tough, the lessons are not tough. I mean, they are equally tough. It's just that maybe this part here onwards, a lot of them, if you if you can read, and then understand the theory, is actually a lot more simpler in that sense, because you can actually read up on different things to make yourself understand things better, you see. Whereas the other one, it really needs you to practice your skills and all that, so there can be a bit of difficulties there for some people, a lot of application work. For the coming up work, some of the work are very theoretical work. So if you really just read carefully, go through the work carefully, the notes carefully, you should be able to understand and do quite reasonably well in exams in that sense. But I'm not promising to say that the next, for 6 weeks will be easy. It's still, there's a lot of materials that we're going to go through. We're going to finish with quality and safety management this week, so that's why I'm doing pre-recorded with you, because these two classes are a little bit more theoretical. So when we're doing a little more theoretical work, I prefer to do it pre-recorded so that you can listen to the pre-recording over and over again should you need to like part of it, if you don't understand certain part of it, you can listen to it over and over again. So that's what I think may be a bit easier for everybody. Okay, but next week we'll be back to online face-to-face now, and this week is just pre-recorded. So again, you need to fill up the attendance list, which means there's going to be a file there that says attendance list, and then you need to fill in some of the give a simple answer to some of the simple questions that I've posted up. Okay, test is over, assignment 1 is over. I'll be posting up your project 1 today. And then after that, take note. So it will be in week 9. You will have your assignment, your project 1. It's a big project, which is going to be 25% in a group of 5. So I think that one I've already explained it to you. So take a look at it and get started. And we shall actually talk about it. I may give you an explanation, pre-recorded class on it. If not, then I'll talk to you on Tuesday next week. Okay, but no matter what, I think you really should start looking at it and really should start getting into it, so that when we meet up at any time with online face-to-face, you can ask me questions, like you can straight away ask me questions. Okay, so right, so yep, today we're going to be talking about quality management. And quality management actually is something that is very is one of the biggest problem in the construction industry. Is one of the biggest problem and issue in the engineering world, but we don't really look at it, and we always think of quality management as it's always hiding behind time and cost management. When there is a quality issue on site, people tend to talk about it in terms of repair, in terms of making it better, and then the issue was coming, who's going to pay for it and how long would it take to do it, you see. So again, it goes back to the cost and time issue, and people just forget that actually quality is a complication, it is an issue. Okay, and I think it's a very worthy area for research as well. So it is something that is very deep, but yet we overlook it a lot of times. Okay, so why do we really overlook quality? Because quality is a very subjective things, okay, in terms of engineering. When cost deals with a number, time deals with a number. Time deals with a duration, that is a number. A project period, that is a number. But and cost deals with RM, like money, cents, dollars and cents. So those are actually numbers. And for us engineers, when numbers is the background, is the basis, is the baseline, it's very easy to control and monitor because we need to fit into that particular number. But when it comes to quality, it is a lot more difficult because we tend to see it as a very subjective. The definition of quality can be very wide. It can be very subjective to people who are running the job. It can vary from project to project. It can vary because of the time and budget that is being given. So there's time that you cannot expect certain things because it's not enough of budget that is being given, or there will be a time where you cannot expect certain level of quality because the time that is given is not there, you see. So it tends to be a lot of argument when it comes to quality. So again, for my lecture, for me to you, or as an engineer in the future, I would love you all to think of quality in a very objective manner. Okay, and that's how I'm going to draft out this lecture here today, that quality should be an objective things. And then so how do you make quality objectives? Okay, so quality is not only about, a lot of people like to think about it in terms of specification. They like to think about it in terms of BQ specs, client's requirement, So here we have to be able to understand that in the early days in our construction site, we focus on last minute inspection work, meaning that when the job is finished, somebody comes around, they come around with a pen, a paper, or they can come around with a can of spray to actually spray the work that is not done properly and or reject the items. So we tend to adopt more of a factory manner because quality concepts, quality management concepts are actually from manufacturing, because manufacturing is the earlier ones that talk about quality. So a lot of rules, those quality management experts, they tend to write books and they tend to have concepts that is pretty much dependent on quality management in manufacturing. So a lot of items are like at the end of the belt, you take it out, you test it with something, and then it fails, then you reject the item or you recall the whole batch. So in terms of car manufacturing, in terms of pen stationaries, in terms of water bottle, in terms of whatever type of manufacturing, we tend to do that kind of last minute inspection. That is where the history of quality management comes from. Those people like Duran, Crosby, Deming, they all come from that kind of background. But unfortunately, because it comes from the time in World War II, where people are like, after World War II, things needs to be rebuilt and all that. So a lot of manufacturing work was done, you see. So, and then construction kind of like adopt that kind of concept early in the early stages. But when manufacturing moved on already, manufacturing now talks about controlling the processes, controlling the works that goes into it, so that you don't really have to check the products anymore. So those kind of QM, quality management processes, is already swerving towards that sort of like process dependent and not so much of a final product dependent. Whereas us engineering, we're still sticking to that. A lot of our mentality on quality are still sticking to that last minute inspection at the end of the conveyor belt, and when things are already almost all finished. And when that happens, it is very painful because you need to rework a lot of things, you see. So quality is actually a process. It's actually a process. You have to remember that. It's actually a process throughout the whole starting of the project to the ending of the project. So what you all need to be aware of is when I draft this lecture also, I like to think of it as a process. So you can see that the first part of the lecture is going to be based on the earlier part of the process, where we talk about meeting of the minds, dependent on clients, a requirement, and then you're drafting out your mission, your vision, your goals, your objectives, all the project quality management planning, and then you plan out your processes, etc. And then after that, you carry out the work, and then you actually have a proper QC method. And then from that QC method, you are checking on the processes at different peak stop of the project. You need to check the processes before you move on any further. You see, so this is the whole picture. And then you have QC tools, that is available for this sort of things.